That's been warned. Yeah, well, we got the camera strategically placed on the back of Harold's cat there. You should use that space for advertising.
Yeah.
Hey, we are live. Harold, I see your head.
Poor Dave.
Poor Dave, you ain't never lied, he's got me in her.
His wife likes to be.
All
Alright, it looks like.
Thank you, sir. From another beer.
I think that was probably a little more.
See, I don't have no dress.
Yeah, I got plenty of beer.
You're colorblind, aren't you? Black and white, you. Color jacket.
I like it a lot of ways, but it ranges everything that was attached. So they're no longer the same item numbers. You see what I mean?
You do like the number three days.
When I
Yes.
index, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
That's
like that.
How do you do?
Yeah, we can add them at the top. They screw up all the numbers, but you probably keep it in the same category.
Yeah, we're live.
I hear we say, got my sign. I think you played golf.
I had a surprise from them. I hadn't saw my baby in 5 years, and he popped up this morning for the baby.
Really? Wow, congratulations.
And he came today, and he popped up. Yeah.
Merry
surprise.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Yeah, he popped up and he said, the biggest surprise. When he went to the, when I went to my campus, I don't open my door once I like it. I said, who is it? He said, yo, son, I got the second what song? Because you know, Stephen, we overseas. And I opened up, I said, I got the clothes, no, I don't.
I think Steve Hendry got some seats.
Yeah, he put me in this room, yeah, he gonna have the whole thing. I was so shocked. I told him, I said, y'all wanna go to the thing? I said, I got to go this way. They said, no, go ahead.
And let's call the meeting.
Happy New Year, y'all.
All the aldermen are here along with clerk
He said he put
Melissa
my
Martin, attorney Rocky Eaton. If I could get Craig Bullock to say the prayer and lead us in the pledge.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you for today. Thank you for the privilege to be here. God, we ask for your guidance and your wisdom as we make decisions for the city as a whole. God, thank you for the privilege to be on this board and to represent the citizens in this city. God, I pray that as we enter into these next several days where we celebrate the birth of your son, that we will not take that for granted, not lose sight of what we have in a Savior, in Jesus. Thank you for him. Thank you for this night, and I pray that you'll keep us safe as we meet and as we leave. And forgive us where we fail you. It's in Jesus' name that I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt the agenda with the additions of under proclamations and resolutions, which is to adopt a resolution authorizing a memorandum of understanding with the Attorney General? Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there a motion to accept the consent agendas number 1 and 2?
Motion.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Do we have any public comment? Okay, we let you go last anyway, Ms. Addy, I forgot about you. Hey, if we could, I would like to move, I should have said this up front, move number 17 of orders and ordinances to the front. And I would ask that we have a motion, a request to adopt an order hiring Brandon Clark in the fire department as a second-class firefighter effective December 30th, 2021. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
We did it in the right order this time. Now I'd like to come around and we would swear you in, Brandon.
Just bring the forward today.
Hey, come on up here. You got to go, you got to kind of learn this before I did. Does that look right? Steve, I should say.
Okay, Kayla.
Oh, you got it now, saying on the YouTube part of this. All right, I state your name,
I, Brandon Clark,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully support
that I will faithfully support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Mississippi,
and the Constitution of the State of Mississippi,
and obey the laws thereof,
and obey the laws thereof,
that I am not disqualified
that I am not disqualified
from holding the office
to holding the office
of firefighter,
of firefighter,
that I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duty of the office
upon which I am about to enter.
which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Speech. We give you 30 minutes.
Regular way nomination.
I've got to tell you.
Yeah, appreciate y'all letting us do that. Appreciate Chief Hendry, Chief Sims, appreciate y'all letting us share. We obviously, sometimes we always make a joke, we want to kind of at least have a recognition of people's faces when we bump into them at Walmart. But anyway, thank you, congratulations. I know you're going to do great work for us. All righty. No public comment. Under proclamations and resolutions, is there a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing a memorandum of understanding with the Attorney General? This is doing with some litigation on the opioid. There's some federal monies, I believe it was coming down. And at the recommendation of our attorney is that we would enter into this agreement with the Mississippi State Attorney General. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, no bids and quotes, no old business. Under general business, number 4, is there a motion to make the intersection at Harvey and Jones Street a 4-way stop? Is there a motion?
I will motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Good. Appreciate the work you've done on that as well. And I know there'll probably be some discussion on this, and I have a little bit more information on this. Is something that Alderman Steele brought to us. Number 5, which is a request to add 17 streetlights at Williamsburg subdivision to the city's Dixie Electric account. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Discussion.
Okay.
Just, Jared, could you enlighten us on
So,
this lighting issue?
so the situation is, the lights are there, but they're not on. A developer years ago came through and seems to have set up that infrastructure. And it's been some time that those lights are not lit up anymore. Now the houses that have been built and people are living there, those are on currently. And so it's a bit of a safety issue. I've had more than one constituent kind of tell me like it is pitch black back there and a little bit scary, and asking who should be turning these lights on. And if we're paying for the lights of the people who live there, it seems like this would be a way for the city to kind of basically this is our best, one of our better places for development. We want that development. We want, that kind of growth. Growth.
Let me ask, one that, because a lot of times we ride around and lights off, and we're already paying for that. Is that the case on that? We're already paying for those?
No,
We're not already paying for, okay.
The developer was paying for it.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's been some time.
And
since
no,
they
I
have-
think that he probably paid for them longer than he wanted to.
Yeah, probably so.
And so the residents who have built houses, those lights are on currently, and the city's been taking care of that.
And from a time standpoint, we should be able to click these on quicker. And my understanding is there wouldn't be the extra fee that Dixie Electric usually charges to put the light up, since these are already in existence.
Okay.
But just to be real clear, I do think it's definitely in the best interest of the city as a whole.
And I think that's right for development out there, because there's quite a few lots,
Absolutely.
good lots that are still available as well.
That's one, Grand Bank still,
Subdivision up off
I think
of,
I know they got some lots in there.
yeah, I do too. Okay, yeah.
No, these are lights, my understanding about, I'm correct, because I drove through the subdivision this afternoon. They're not attached to power poles or
Yeah.
anything, they are
Standalone
freestanding
lights, more
lights.
like what you see in Trailwood.
it's a subterranean electric
Underground.
grid back there.
I know what you're talking
Yeah, sorry.
Now, so if any of these lights are non-operational, not just electrical issues, because talking to the realtor Cindy, she says in the past, if there was a light out, that the city actually would go out and fix them, replace the light bulb. So at least that's what the realtor had told me.
Well, I did confirm with the power company that they are not currently they have not been receiving power for quite a while.
How long have they been
lights.
sitting there?
Oh, wow.
There's a light on, there was one light on right now.
It's been 8 or 10 years.
Well, there's several. There's a lot of lights that are lit out there, but those are all attached to an address.
David moved in there.
09.
Yeah.
Well, the city's paying
Yeah.
for the light.
Yeah, David moved in right after that subdivision started going. He's been there a while.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second.
Is it only 17 or is that would not
Yeah,
be
that would be the whole
entire?
neighborhood. Yeah, that takes care of them.
And like you said, no 34,000 lookup fee.
Yeah, it shouldn't be the, I think they usually charge it $600-700. I'm double check that if that is in the case, it shouldn't be. And usually it takes a little, usually you get on the list and it just gets, they get to it when they get to it. They're already there, so it's really just flip and switch in this case. And I think that'll make that neighborhood a lot nicer, looking and safer. Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
Number 6, request to set a hearing date of January 11th, 2022 at 6 p.m. for property located at 405 West Central. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Uh,
Similar request, January 11th, 2022, 6 p.m. for property located at 2010 West Central. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a motion second? All in favor? Okay, a request to accept sole source letter and quote from Municipal Emergency Services for Seek TIC cameras and accessories in the amount of $6,452.91 to be purchased out of the state rebate money. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second. Chief, you might wanna tell us what that is.
Thermal imaging cameras, we want on each truck.
Yeah,
Well, actually, 3 on.
Thermal imaging. Yeah, I knew what it was. I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew.
These replace the ones we got rid of.
We've had one and, no, we've not gotten rid of them. We've had some in the house that we couldn't justify repairing.
Yeah, there we go.
With Alderman Stringer's familiarity with that, when you go for the install phase of that, I'm sure he's available.
Just let me know.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor? Number 9, request to accept a rental agreement with Owens Business Machine for state contract for printer, copier, fax at the judicial department. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Discussion.
Okay, go ahead for a second.
I just think, from a policy perspective, I think the contract says 1 cent per black and like 8 cents per color. And I'll be honest, I think every time we print out something color for us, we're just spending taxpayer money that we don't need to, so. Unless it's a priority mission, so Mayor, you're gonna get a, new restaurant, new business down, I mean, I'm fine with black and white. I think it's save money, profit.
What was that? Michelle over there.
It's from Michelle, and there's one out today too. What's it called?
Black and white.
I don't know if they have anything that ever has to be done in color, maybe pictures or something if they.
But I know.
Yeah, I would think the pictures would be the only thing they would ever need in color.
Yeah, and if, a lot of times Amy will do projections, and like
Yeah.
I said, we can get around that, it comes up here, it's like I said, every penny counts.
Yeah, I'll have that conversation with her. Okay, got a motion and a second, all in favor? Okay, number 10, request to adjust water services bill to 102 West Drive in the amount of $230 due to a leak. That would have been a good one, huh? Is there a motion? Motion. Motion and second, all in favor? Okay, good. Thanks, Steve. Number 11, a request to waive sewer tap fee for property located at 309 West Central. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion, is there a second?
Discussion.
Okay, second for discussion.
Mike, can you explain this to us, what we're doing and how we got here?
The tap that he was wanting was on Central Avenue, is gonna be the closest sewer line to their location. The sewer is about 8 foot deep on the other side of Central Avenue. So we'd have to open the road up a minimum of 8 foot wide all the way across the street.
Mhm.
You got to cross a main AC water line, you got to cross the line there for the runoff of the water of the streets. So it's a bigger undertaking, plus you're tearing up that, the big nice Central Avenue. So we talked to him back then and said, hey, can we put you a tap over on McKinnis? We won't charge you nothing for it, since you're gonna have to run the line a lot further, 250 feet instead of less than 100. If we can put a tap over on McKinnis, we won't charge you for it, if you run it over there. That was agreed upon. Of course, it's been a while now since he's never done it, and finally we're getting on him and making him do it, and it's being done as of today. I checked on that as well, but that's kind of why we did that the way we did it, because of the infrastructure of the city. We didn't want to damage any of the lines, plus mess up that road, because, it was such a, it's a very thick, because it used to be a highway, it was a thick road, and we didn't want to tear it up.
You said that it had been a while. Exactly how long has it been since that last line was put in?
It's been within a year.
A year?
Yeah, when we put the tap in, yes.
So we've had open sewage over there for a year.
There was a line there, and it went under a house over towards McKinnis Way. It for some reason collapsed, tore up or something. We're not sure exactly what happened. And it's back when Eli was here. I don't know if y'all probably wouldn't know him, but that's about the time when it ended up getting cut and he was supposed to run it. And it's kind of one of those things out of sight, out of mind, because it's over there in that corner. Nobody said anything, we haven't heard anything, and that's why it's taking this long. And then we found that he hasn't done it yet, and we took action on it.
Yeah, I assume that's why he came to us in the first place. He is being billed though, even as
Being built what?
he's being billed sewer,
But he came to y'all about,
saying, hey, he wanted to hook into our sewer, because it was gonna probably cost more money to.
may I ask when that was?
What, about a year ago, 6 months ago?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Whenever this process started, then we come back and said, hey, wait, you haven't done this yet.
It's just it's real frustrating for him to come asking for favors whenever he let sewer sit there for so long. And even after we had put this new line in, our ordinances already say that we can put a new line in and then we'll just charge you $60 or $50. But if you bypass on connecting to that new line, after 6 months, it goes back to the original $650.
The McKinnis wasn't a new line though, was it? It was a new tap, right?
Right, new tap, yes.
Yeah. It was already
He would
there,
have
so he
to run
basically
his
had
line
access
to
to
it.
2 different areas. He could have tapped into the front street would have been, of course, we can send the bill, we can bill them the overage if he taps in there. we say it's on, that, typically what we would do, I would hate to go up under there near all our other infrastructure. And then after he's paid us, whatever that number is, 6 months from now, we realize there's a bigger issue there that we've caused. And then we're gonna be on the hook for that.
Oh, no, I want them to have it tapped up.
Yeah,
Like-
McKinnis is the best.
Like we've said, it's been open sewage apparently sitting
Oh,
there
yeah.
for God knows how long at this point.
Mhm. I mean, those are probably, if I had to guess, probably original to the house.
What does it,
Yes.
since we're asking them to connect to McKinnis,
Mhm.
like, why do we
And-
need to
and
repay,
clean up-
why
and
do we
clean
need to
up.
cover this?
And to clean up his stuff there.
But I expect him to deal with that no matter what.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying that we're coming in on the back end of that.
But it's because he's funding a much further tap, and he's gonna be on the hook for that.
Yeah.
So that's,
30 feet it puts down.
Yeah.
yeah, so that's the quid pro quo.
Yeah, he'll
Because-
pay.
Because otherwise, normally they would tap into the nearest, and he would only have up to pay for 100 feet.
Mike, what's the cost for 130 feet right now?
I don't know what the price on that pipe is. I know it's kind of expensive because we just bought some C900, which is a little bit thicker. It's about, I can't remember what that number was.
Just
But yeah, the
EPC,
pipe
huh?
is a little expensive. And, you're looking at 250 foot versus less than 100 feet. So, that's what we're looking at.
And in theory, we're not out any money other than a little bit of labor over there putting in a tap, right?
Which is already been done.
Right. Meeting in that way. Like, as far as this issue goes, as far as just the issues of putting the sewer line goes,
And you had to hire a licensed contractor plumber to put it in, which you hired Mike Aaron, and I'm sure that was very expensive. That was probably, I don't know, 3,000 at least.
And that's secondary to the reason we even kind of knew a little bit more about this is some of the building that's back there.
the property that came up. All right.
That'll be a January issue when it's all said and done.
But in my
I mean,
mind,
I see us going in there taking care of that.
is there a way that we can cover the extra 130 feet? Like, for us to
Well, that
bypass
would be
the
work on
fees
private
and all this
property.
other stuff, like, if we wanted to connect somewhere as opposed to somewhere else, then I'd rather say, we'll pay for those extra feet, but we're not gonna pay for
Oh,
all
that'd
the
be
stuff that you need to have done
That'd be illegal.
long.
Oh, no,
time
we're not. Are you talking about the cleanup?
No, I'm talking about even the line.
That would be
Oh,
work
no,
on
we're not
private
paying
property.
for he's paying
Yeah,
Mike
I think-
Aaron.
Yeah, that's private property
The
deal.
only thing we've got is some man hours putting the tap in.
Yeah, all we did was a tap. The only thing it cost the city was a
We're
tap.
sitting there waiting
The
for,
line, the
For him to do
Mike
it.
Aaron group who actually is installing that, it's all out of his pocket.
Honestly, I think between what he's telling me and what he's telling me, it's the wash.
Yeah. he'll be out a little bit more money because obviously if he'd have tapped in a year ago, it probably, all the stuff would have been cheaper. But it doesn't, I mean, he's still picking up to pay some money to get the other stuff cleaned up. And as Amy said, and addressed an email to the board, and we're not gonna allow him to go in there and just pour some sand in the hole. But, and it's kind of that, and then we got the building back there and some other stuff. And
I just,
January's gonna be,
doing him the favor
Interesting.
after all this is frustrating me.
Mm.
But I understand it from our perspective,
Mm.
so. Anybody else?
Well, I would just say is, I think I'm the one that walked back there and was surprised that we had a sewer pool that's bacteria infested, that exposes our citizens to this, to disease, that we don't know about. For obviously at least a year, probably longer, because the worker on site said it's been like that for a long time. And we don't know where all these things are. I think, Mayor, you mentioned there's a bunch of backdated, that are not connected to the line, but they're pumping them out and they're legal.
oh yeah.
But,
Yeah, most people are gonna maintain.
yeah, they're gonna
the
maintain it.
system.
But this wasn't maintained for a long time and it put our citizens at risk. And again, I mean, that's between the landowner and those accompanying renters and all that, but, it seems like we have a problem of taking care of our renters with landlords at times. But that really surprised me. Walk back there and see feces floating, smelling next to a previous restaurant. And there's renters that are currently still living in those houses around there. And again, that's not my ward. I appreciate, Craig's been working hard on it, but, we were all voted to be representatives of the entire state. And I tell you, working through that area of town, and like I said, that's been your focus, to try to start one in and kind of clean up as we go along. And he's made some good effort working on that side. I just want to, and I'm glad that, that we have a timeline, but he's has other timelines that he has not met. And so, you know, to me, this is critical. This is health and welfare. I mean, and the other ones are just moving cars around. I mean, that's appearance of beautification. But to me, this is personal in the sense of it's a health issue. And that's why I feel a little, you know, just with all the work we've been working together one-on-one, and this is a learning opportunity for me as an alderman. But I'm glad we had a solution working forward. But from now on, I think we have to have a different position when we deal with this individual, because he abused trust in the city. Because a legitimate, caring person for the city would have taken care of this on his own, versus having come to be, you know, held accountable.
Andrew, you hit it for me right there when you said trust. If we agree to waive this, do we have any guarantees that that line's going to be built the way?
They're working today.
Yeah,
being tapped in.
Mike Herron does a lot of work for us, so he's
a good man.
Okay, so we have a
And I will say
good
that
idea
the
that will happen.
complication on the side of wanting to just let's move beyond this would be that we're also dealing with some people that live in the house. So
Yeah. And for their sake,
I can be grinchy as anybody, but I don't want
for their
to. So
sake,
I'm saying,
Yes.
try.
for the sake of the people that immediately live in that house, it makes sense for us to get this done, get it done quick, because no, like especially around this time of year, but it's just in general, we don't want them kicked out or their bills, their license utilities turned off.
Yeah.
But
We need to be in a better place.
we have
now.
other properties that we've dealt with this person that still have, like Drew said, still has not been dealt with to our standards. And those are just the first of many properties. And this is somebody who's already shown that they are happy to jerk us around and come over here and get these 3 months and then another month, and it's still not done. So we're going to give them a little bit more time. And the entire time we come to find out that there's a cesspit in the backyard of 3 of his houses. One of them had tenants not long ago, and we closed it down. And 2 of them still have tenants, and one of the barns about to fall in. And I know that this is a man who in the past has done a lot for Petalin, so I'm appreciative of that. However, we've still got more to deal with this person, and so we need to keep it in mind that, like, he has the means and abilities to take care of this. The fact that it's been sitting there, that he's just allowed his tenants, who he holds some responsibility for, to live in these circumstances, is something that we need to keep in mind whenever these future properties come up.
All right, anything else, guys?
Mike, thanks for running this around, and Greg, thanks for shepherding to get this point, like I said, because otherwise we wouldn't be here. So thank you for, you know.
Very much so, absolutely.
All right, got a motion, got a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, number 12 is in line with proclamations and resolutions. It is a request to adopt a memorandum of understanding with the Attorney General. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second? All in favor? Alrighty, seminars and travel. Is there a motion to request to authorize Jeremy Brown to travel to Meridian on December 28th, total cost $148.59. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Number 14, request to authorize Emily Holder to attend Southern Regional Public Safety Institute beginning January 9th, 2022 at a cost of $3,600. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Orders and ordinances. Number 15, request to hire Shannon Hines as assistant to the director in the building department at a rate of pay $15 per hour effective January 3rd. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Discussion.
Second for discussion, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just looking at Amy's recommendation on it, and I've hired a lot of people down in the state of, state employees down in Shelby, and I'll be honest, her letter was weak. I mean, if you read it specifically, her job skills appear to be suitable for the position, and she seemed to be work well. And I don't know, I tried to call Amy to ask, hey, was that just a mischaracterization of how she wrote that sentence? Because I mean, she makes the recommendation to hire. And she's been a good employee in the past, so, I said, and I asked you how many we interviewed. Personally, you said just one.
Just her.
And again, and like I said, you know, I won't support the building director, because, you know, we support when they bring us from qualified and the hire, just, I was confused on that sentence. Because usually you say, this is what I want, she's, you know, she's got skills, I'm ready to go, I don't want to postpone. She didn't do that. So and she's not here to explain why she didn't say that.
She was in, I mean, she had an interview with her. She felt real confident that she can get the job.
Okay, well, then maybe I'm just misreading her statement.
I'm fine with there being only one interview if there's really only one candidate that seems to meet our criteria. Was there nobody else that applied for it?
I had one other, and one of the biggest problems was, and I guess I can say this so folks can see it on YouTube, is we still have a large number of people that try to apply on Facebook when it says specifically, don't
They are
apply
maybe
on
on
Facebook.
yeah.
So that's a problem, but yeah, her, obviously there's a working knowledge of her having been here and everything, so that's good. And that seems like that'll be a big fit down there. My biggest concern obviously was for her to have some sit down time with Amy to kind of go over how that process was gonna be. I mean, it's just been her and Terry down there for a long, long time. So you don't want to change the vibe up, and I think Shannon will be a good fit when it comes to that.
On that, we'll steal her back from Rawls School District, which is good.
Yes,
Because
that's
she's
right,
part of the
that's
team
right.
already, but
That's
And,
right.
and this just goes back to, you know, I talked about in January or July when I came on board, is looking at our policy book, and the employee handbook, how we do hirings and all that, to codify it a little bit more.
Well,
And you said it's on the hit list of your.
and Paul, yeah, well, Paul has mentioned some stuff, and I know Melissa has some stuff that some easy stuff, just need to clean up over there. And in some cases, just a sentence here and a sentence there, kind of stuff, but at some point, we'll bring that forward.
Related to Ms. Hines, I was a principal for several years, 100 years, it seems like, but she was my employee for about 6 years, and excellent job. Worked really hard, team player, so I don't think we could go wrong with this hire.
Thanks, Mike. I think you want to reference this, so I'm just taking that to heart.
I'm looking at the resume, I have zero problem with the resume, I think she's qualified, I think the variation in what she's done, office manager, a lot of teaching is very specialized, athletics coordinator, as we already know, her work history here.
And
I have zero problem with it.
understanding, like, the first period of her job is gonna be just reading ordinances. What's this mean? What's that mean? How does this work?
Learning.
Obviously, Rocky knows, attorneys write those things, so there is some of it is up to interpretation, so.
Probably
good. But, anyway, we've got a motion, got a second, all in favor? Number 16. Number 16, is there a motion to adopt an order transferring Amanda Richardson to the fire department as a recruit firefighter effective January 13th? Is there a motion?
Discussion.
Second discussion, go ahead.
Are we losing our training water operator? Did she back, are we sent her to training?
We sent her to school, but she didn't take the test, because she was gonna transfer back to the fire department.
Okay.
Chief, why the 13th? Why January 13th? Put you on the spot.
It's supposed to be the 10th, I thought, first day of that pay
We
Well, it's actually the first day of the pay period.
period. Well, 13th called shift.
That's what I figured.
The 13th to join in the shift. Okay. Got a motion, got a second. All in favor? Okay, we've already taken care of number 17, unless y'all want to vote on Brandon again. Anybody? I mean, you get paid twice.
Double the work.
Number 18, request to adopt an order setting new pay scale for the police and dispatch effective December 29th, 2021. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Discussion.
Okay, go
Mayor,
ahead.
can you just explain what this really means? I mean, just so, does it mean on 1 January, they get the rest of they're getting paid full?
It'll mean, when will they get the new?
December 29th will be when it starts, when they work on December 29th.
So
They'll
their
get paid
first
till the
check,
first pay period.
It'll be the first paycheck they get in January. So they'll miss, and that's one of the things we did in this budget. I know you department heads and employees love this. Not only do we get to fight over everything in the budget side of it, but we always get to vote on it again when it's actually going to come into effect. If we start something at the beginning, we would have voted on this in September, it would have started October 1. This was a cost savings standpoint. We still, I mean, hey, I want to see a couple more of those 3% checks come in, but we really wanted to see that first one to know if we were going to have any issues from that standpoint. Sales tax still comes in strong. And when I say strong, it's not, we get to take the next afternoon off and go fishing strong. It's just a little above the number we need to hit. Like I said before, if our numbers come in $10,000 more a month than we were anticipating, that's great. That's better than the other way, but it's still $120,000 over the course of a 12-month period. Our health insurance could be up $200,000. So while it's good, it's still something that we keep our eye on. And that's why we intentionally come in and we're very conservative when it came to our budget, and we budgeted a little lower. But this is the first fruits, as I've said, from the standpoint of the second half of a police pay raise that Chief Hyatt had brought to us a couple of years. And it seems like it was a long time ago, huh? Here we are. And here we are. I thought we could phase that in, and I not to beat a dead horse, but I always tell the story. I worked for a company back in the day. If they had bad stuff they were going to do to you, they phased it in. So it's still bad, but you got 2 or 3 years to do it. This is actually good stuff, but it allows you to chew it up in parts that we can do, and it allows our guys to be competitive. We're not going to keep everybody. We understand not everybody's going to take the journey with us and end it as well, but it makes us more competitive from a pay standpoint. So we won't be the training ground of the Pine Belt and everything. But does any of the aldermen have anything to add?
Long overdue.
I appreciate that.
We got a motion, we got a second, all in favor?
Aye.
I would add on to that as well, and I wanted to make sure y'all voted on that first, is that I would like to personally thank Alderman Bullock, Alderman Stringer, and Alderman Lott for staying the course on this. I would also like to thank Alderman Brickson, Alderman Strickland, you're writing all this down? Alderman Noble, and Alderman Steele. Y'all caught something from the back end and saw it for what it was and have supported them. I would also like to mention Mayor Marks, Alderman Clint Moore, Alderman Amaker, and Alderman Clayton that began this process. But that's not a very, very easy thing to do with the new guys catching this from we've had 6 months, I guess, to digest it. But it also goes back to the leadership that you provided, Chief Hyatt, that you gave it, I guess you dumbed it down for us and you made it really easy to see. And I've also said as well, that doesn't end there with our first responders. And I want to say this as loud as I can possibly say it. If the numbers come in, we didn't put it in paper for what we can do and help out our firemen. We didn't put it on paper, and we said we would look at some of these numbers as they come in, and we would revisit that in the spring. So our commitment, I know as a board and as an administration, it is still to do that. Obviously, we can't pay people with money we don't have, and our fire department is a large. They got more employees than anybody else. But guess what? When we make the phone call for them to come out to our house, and it's an emergency situation, and once again, we want to make sure that 2 things. If you use the city of Petal on your resume, that it means something to your next employer, and that we pay, retain qualified people. And so I think we've got department heads that are on the same mission to do that. I'm glad we've gotten taken care of the first half of our job up here. And I would just congratulate you, Chief Hyatt, on that. I know we're going to sit down with Chief Hendry and Chief Sims and have a deeper conversation on what we can do over there.
And I want to say I'm committed to working with them on theirs.
Awesome. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Did you get all that?
Word to word.
You too.
And I would like to, I would actually like
Now,
to
you've
hear,
got to put in the minutes everybody's name that I just said.
and I'd like to work on the fire department sooner than later
Tom
too.
Tyner, I record the action of the discussion.
All right, we'll have to have a personnel, a quick, meeting on.
She's on my side.
All righty, let's see, that was number 18. Let's go to number 19, which is a motion to request to adopt an order increasing the rate of pay for Catherine Lee in the Recreation Department.
With the same date, effective date.
December 29th.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 20 is a request to adopt an order increasing the salary of Josh Young in the Recreation Department.
Same date.
Motion.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
And just to let everyone know, those are budgeted items. And so I expect that Josh will run out of here in a few minutes and get ready to work for tomorrow, right, Josh?
Yes, sir.
Appreciate the work you've been doing.
Thank you.
It's noticed, and I appreciate the effort and the energy, and I know it's just not you doing it, so I appreciate that. And Mike as well. I know-
They've been helping us out there picking up paper on the campus, since we haven't, not having to do all these ball fields right now. It's been a big help to us as well.
Well, he's tried to cut every tree down back here, so I have, have slowed him down on some of that. Haskell, I'll give you a phone call whenever, we have a tree dropping ceremony out back, but, anyway, number 21 is a request to adopt an order transferring, Emily Holder to full-time fourth-class patrol officer effective, December 29th, 2021. Is there a motion? There's a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, in the mayor's report, I will say that trash will pick up normal this week and next week. No holidays for the trash men. City Hall will be closed on Thursday, and Friday for Melissa. And, Miss Ada, you got anything?
They gonna be, is they gonna be on Monday
Yes.
after Christmas?
Yes.
So they gonna be covered. I mean, everybody get off on Thursday and Friday and Saturday.
You believe
And
that?
Saturday, everybody, I said everybody.
Well, not our
Police and
fire and police will still be here.
Oh, but everybody else is out.
And you got Steve's number. He'll work if you need him to.
Okay, I'm just wondering, is everybody else off?
Oh, yeah, City Hall will be closed and Senior Center and Civic
Street,
Center.
what about the street department? They
Mhm,
gonna have to
yeah,
work?
Mike, you're closed, aren't you?
Only for emergencies.
Well, I was just wondering
Yeah,
because
Miss
We
Ada,
have an emergency.
It does
number.
seem like the water leaks happen on the
I was
weekends.
just wondering if they had to come in to work on
Oh, no,
those
no.
holidays, they should get paid.
They do.
Anybody, they have to come in to work on these holidays, they should get
They
something.
get paid not to work those days.
They should get paid then, okay, as long as they get paid.
Miss
I'm for everybody.
Ada, we've already had that discussion.
Yeah.
We don't have to be-
This is, we don't have another meeting.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you were to change the ordinance, it would have to be a 30-day wait anyway. You're not gonna get it for the.
Well, I
We
don't
need to
know,
have a
but
discussion
that's
with,
it, Christmas.
Chief Henry and Chief Hyatt. Chief Hyatt, this is, and Chief Henry, we got this conversation. Hey, we are going to, we're not gonna have another meeting, obviously fireworks for New Year's, it's an ordinance that says you can't pop fireworks. And also that's balanced between, we can't be everywhere at one time. So I would request that people use a little common sense. I know y'all's phone blows off the hook for everything in the world, from barking dogs to everything else, doesn't it?
It does, yes, sir.
Another thing I would do on the update side is we have written, our dog, animal control officer has written some citations recently, correct?
For dog.
9 or 11, I think he told me.
I would encourage the citizens of Belleville to follow the city ordinance on restraining your animals. Otherwise, you may be standing in front of the judge in a few weeks if we are issuing citations.
Yeah.
It seems to be a concern and a problem, so we're trying to get the attention as we know how, I guess.
Like animals free roaming or?
Yeah.
Oh, abiding by the leash law and all.
They're not tethered on a leash or behind a fence, that's a violation.
We've had some aggressive dogs kind of getting a little wacky, and that kind of pertains to that. Some owners, oh, my baby ain't gonna, you know.
And if you're gonna talk about the fireworks, typically what we try to do, just because it is laws, doesn't mean we have to necessarily enforce every aspect of that. So I want to say this with caution. We have had patients in the past, when it comes to allowing certain elements of fireworks to be popped. But it seems to me, I have, seen that has maybe gotten a little out of hand. And so loud explosion, disturbing the peace type stuff, I would probably not be doing that as well.
2 and 3 in the morning.
2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah, that's
people
it. Yeah.
Respect your neighbors.
Yeah, respect- that's right.
Ordinance,
Be
we're not
considerate of your
gonna stop you
neighbors.
from popping a firecracker, but if you're setting off cannons, you're probably again gonna be standing in front of the judge.
Chief, what about?
Have a
Mayor.
great New Year, happy holidays and all that, and just try to respect.
Well, I might have to call you then, because down there in front of my house, they don't pay me a bit of attention.
We'll do the best we can.
They don't
There's a
pay
few
me.
of us and a lot of everybody.
Mayor, is there any plan on the part of the city to make this, I think there are a lot of people who don't realize that that's against city ordinance.
Yeah.
To pop, just pop,
I think
my kids go out back, I
but-
pop
but-
firecrackers
but
with them.
their- Y'all's phones will go off the hook between 11 and 1 like crazy.
Is there any
The
type of,
downside is it causes a safety issue if there's a real.
any type of
safety
information, whether it's
Yeah, we can get
Facebook
something-
or
we can get
newspaper or
something,
whatever,
Yeah.
to put this
We
out?
can get it on our
to
Facebook
inform-
page.
Sometimes it'd be informing people for the very first time in their minds. They
Yeah.
don't know
Well, they
this.
see their neighbors do it, and I mean, I guess
And then there are some people who say, oh, they're popping firecrackers. They're not supposed to. I'm gonna call the police.
A lot of them don't pay no
I
attention.
do want to say, like, it's been a conversation among some of us, and I know that the review of the ordinances are coming up. And so, like, I appreciate the fireworks and everything like that. I know plenty of people don't. At the same time, there's got to be an understanding that there's a time and a place. And so, in the future, I know that we can't do anything tonight, obviously, but in the future, we might want to look at setting an ordinance of saying like, hey, on 4th of July, nothing past midnight. On New Year's, 12 to 1, have your fun, let it be during that point in time.
You know, part of the complaints we get to, like, when is if it was just those 2 days, but what happens is January
Yeah,
1st, 2nd,
it
3rd,
goes
4th.
on.
Because it
Yeah,
falls on the
I think
wrong
right
day.
now,
Yeah.
we set a blanket no, and so if you're gonna break it, then just break it. But if we really do allow like a point in time where it's like, hey, we understand, go out there and celebrate, don't make it any cannons, like you said, chief, but we say, hey, you get an hour on New Year's to have
Well,
fun.
as long as they consider it, you know,
Yeah.
that's a part of it.
And
but not a-
And then the second they go outside of that.
No, I will say the ordinance does say no fireworks allowed. And the fact that everyone sets them off at a certain time, it's actually a citywide act of civil disobedience. And I think it's amazing, but it still allows the police
I would
department
just
to
say,
enforce it when it's a
if you're
problem.
gonna do that,
Yes,
you're gonna try to change that criteria, but you're gonna need to get the fire department involved in that, and they're gonna have to have some say-so, if I can speak for Chief Henry, that if the conditions don't allow for that, and if it's gonna create a more
If it's
hazardous,
so dry or things
We've
like
had
that.
burn-
letting off
burn
dry
bans going on.
conditions are not
And I get
good
more
for those
nervous.
kind of things, so, and they'll have to say-so, some authority to say, no, we're not doing
I
it.
get
Absolutely.
nervous.
They're gonna be there first time.
Okay, we'll keep that in consideration.
I'm just asking.
Before I get 14 phone calls, wireless collars on dogs when they are adhered to.
I was actually about to say, I have an
I have
underground
it all.
fence
My
myself.
kids go out of the yard.
That is not part of the way the ordinance reads right now. It is to
Behind
be
the fence.
tethered, to be leashed or behind a fenced area.
So invisible fences are not, they're a violation of the code as written.
As written.
So would
Like
Todd,
if you understand it to be different, that's my
would
understanding.
Todd have the ability to,
Because
would Officer Todd, or sorry, Wilson have the ability to use his discretion on that case, if he understands?
And, you know, here's what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna tell you, if officers and animal control and federal police are not gonna be riding down the road, see your dog in your yard, just you and your dog, and not on a leash, and walk up and give you a ticket, that's not what I'm talking about. But if your dog travels in somebody else's yard or goes down the road, if we can't contain it in that yard, where we have been more lenient, we're gonna start not being so lenient, because of some things that are being brought to our attention that we need to kind of get a little bit more strict.
If she leaves my yard, that's my problem.
That's exactly right, that's what we're trying to prevent. If she leaves your yard, she has to be tethered on the leash,
And some of
otherwise.
those do not work, but she walks right up to the line and go back.
So we're not gonna be getting out, I'm reassuring you, just right.
Y'all not gonna be out looking for it.
And Mayor, I think that's another, that's a great thing that's happening there. And I think that's another publicity page that we need to have on our city Facebook and newspaper, whatever we can to get that word out there to the people.
We're gonna be absolutely fair about it, you know, with that and with the fireplace.
Well, I haven't asked,
We haven't asked.
I'm not the owner, I've been asking that question a lot. What I tell them is if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then that's fine. Big dogs will not adhere to that.
Hey, I'm gonna see, we made a brief, executive session for a legal matter, but I'm sure Valerie has something for us. Anything?
Why would you be sure?
I don't know. You're sitting on the second row, that's, get me
Yeah,
off.
no, I just wanted to tell you, we have set up a meeting on January the 12th, just for input from business owners and property owners and Petal interested parties to take a look again at what our plans are for redeveloping downtown Petal. We've had them in the past. We want to revisit those. We want to see where we are now compared to where we were 2009, the last time we seriously looked at this. So everybody's invited. It will be in the paper. Haskell, I think, has it on his schedule, so put that on your calendar.
May I ask a location and time?
Magnolia
Petal
Room.
Civic Center, 4:30 to 6 o'clock at the Magnolia Room.
Thank you, ma'am.
Awesome. If there's, anything else, motion to see the need for an executive
So
session?
moved.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, folks, for coming.
Thank y'all.
Congratulations.